Hello and welcome back to yet another video of this, the dimly lit man in the dimly lit room talking about movies. And in this one, uh, carrying it on in the A tier, we are talking about several films in this one. Bit of an odd amalgam of movies, but bear with me, and that I promise there is a method to my madness. So in this first face-off, I have two of my favourite actors that have come to be, Gary Oldman and Nicholas Hoult. So we've got Darkest Hour and Tolkien, the Tolkien himself. So we've got Darkest Hour up first. Gary Oldman, of course, playing as Winston Churchill. Ben Mendelsohn's in here as well. Big fan of him. Recently rewatched Bloodline. Big fan of his acting and his performances. He was King George in this, so that was a quite interesting thing to discover. Really, for me, looking through the cast here, this film is really all about Gary Oldman. I mean, that's probably me going into it knowing that I want to watch him, and I'm sort of drawn into the film with him. Of course, I'm drawn into the film because it's about Churchill and it's about World War II. That's also an area I've always had kind of an interest in as well. But yeah, I just found it really well produced, really well sort of shot film, really well performed, and I enjoyed my time with it. I've given it an A. Facing it off against Tolkien, bit of a, I suppose both these probably a little bit dramatised, but ultimately carried by the strength of the performance of the lead. So we've got Nicholas Hoult as Mr. J.R.R. Tolkien himself, and his wife, played by Lily Collins. I'm looking through the cast again here. I'll be honest, none of the names really jump out to me as people that I know regularly through my film watching, but yeah, I had a good time with it. I've given it an A. I don't know where it ranked on things like Rotten Tomatoes off the top of my head. I haven't got a link to hand, but I enjoyed my time with it. I mean, there's heavy bias for me going into this, given that I'm sort of see myself as a big fan of Middle Earth, and yeah, decently sized fan of Nicholas Hoult's work as well. So yeah, I had a really good time with this. I've given the face-off win to Darkest Hour, but to be honest, it's probably quite close. I think Gary Oldman, though, he's just that good, I think, and his sort of he just when he's in a scene, it's all about him, really. I need to watch more of his work. I'm sure there are sections of certain films where he's equally as good as others, but I'm just a big fan of Mr. Oldman. So yes, I had a great time with those two, giving them both an A. Moving on, we have some more emotive films now. So I watched Pleasantville, 1998. I watched Her, 2013, and I didn't know where to place this, so it's going in this video. Federer 12 Final Days, which is essentially a documentary of Roger Federer's final days leading up to his retirement, which I found very emotional, having been a pretty big tennis fan here for the last 20 years. He's had a big impact on me in my life, to be quite frank, and yeah, I was very moved by the documentary, and I think, yeah, even to this day, it's been a few years now, he's certainly greatly missed on the playing circuit by the tennis community. So carrying that on then, Federer 12 Final Days is 88 minutes, so again, it meets my criteria of if you can get it under 100 minutes, I'm going to give you extra brownie points. And it's his real family in there, and it's his real people around him. You've got features in there from Djokovic, Murray, Borg, Laver, McEnroe, as well. I'd say it's an easy watch. If you're as big into tennis as me, maybe have a tissue to hand just in case. But yeah, what a man. Yeah, forever look forward to sort of hearing and seeing and hoping that he's doing well and gets hopefully the chance now to just enjoy his life with his family. So fantastic stuff. Also in this bracket we've got Pleasantville. We said 1998. So this was one that I got a young Tobey Maguire in there. So it was an odd for me. I'm sure I'd seen this potentially in school, but potentially not. I'm pretty sure I'd seen this before, and watching this again, it felt like a brand new watch because so much of it I'd forgotten. And seeing a young Tobey Maguire in there, um, I've always seen Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. You know, he was my Spider-Man growing up, and so seeing him in a film that predates Spider-Man One, um, you know, as a character that isn't Peter Parker, was a bit of a turn of events for me. But yeah, I thought he was charming in this. Got Jeff Daniels in there, Joan Allen, William Macy. Um, yeah, I think it's just a big fun. It's just a really charming film. Really good time with Pleasantville. We also got Her in this bracket. So this was a 2013 film based on a relationship of a writer who develops a relationship specifically with an artificial intelligence. So this one seems very like poignant given today's landscape with AI in 2026, and the fact that this was produced and developed in 2013, it just feels. It's the second time I've watched it, and it just feels so forward thinking, and it just feels so relevant. It's just one of those films you think, wow, you know, Spike Jonze, who's the director, you know, he could see where things were going, and he was. I'm glad he ran with it and produced this film because it's yeah, it sort of touches on, I suppose, a lot of the thoughts and feelings and concerns I have around AI myself and where we're sort of heading in the future. And yeah, we got Mr. Joaquin Phoenix, who I came to appreciate mostly through his performance in Joker, but also in Gladiator, which I watched again last year. So yeah, it's got a good cast. I think it's got strong direction. Amy Adams is in there, Rooney Mara. So yeah, it's got a good cast. There's a real heart to the film, and there's a real profound sadness to the film as well, with Joaquin Phoenix's character and the sort of realizations he arrives at later in the film. I'm not going to get into spoilers. I always try to keep these videos like super vague, just on basically whether I give it a thumbs up or thumbs down, without getting into spoiler territory. But yeah, this film was certainly struck a chord with me. So in this bracket, I have given it to Her, the 2013 film, but big thumbs up also for Pleasantville and Federer in his documentary. I gave an A plus to Pleasantville, an A plus to Her, and an A to Federer's documentary. But that's probably an A plus as well, because it's probably a bit harsh of me to dock brownie points from Federer's documentary, maybe just because it wasn't like a feature film, so to speak. And the final pair in this bracket this tickles me because I was never really caught up with it to begin with as a thing online, other than seeing it through social media. But it's Barbenheimer. So this is Oppenheimer and Barbie from 2023. So at the time I only watched Oppenheimer, probably drawn in by Cillian Murphy. Emily Blunt again's in there, Matt Damon, Robert Downey Jr. I mean, the cast in this film is just absolutely stacked. Rami Malek, stacked cast, and having rewatched it last year, I was able to reappreciate it again and kind of accept it for what it is, as opposed to going in hoping for certain things, as you often do when you watch a film for the first time. I was sort of able to appreciate it for what it is, and yeah, I found it to be a great sort of history lesson, as well as a great sort of journey to sort of go on with Cillian Murphy's performance. Yeah, so Oppenheimer was all I really knew of until last year. I also made the time to watch Barbie, and I watched this with my mum and my sister, and I'm so glad I did, to be honest, because I thought it was brilliant. I remember I couldn't stop smiling and laughing throughout. We got Margot Robbie in there. We got Ryan Gosling as Ken. I mean, I felt so seen seeing Ryan Gosling as Ken in there, to be honest. Just seeing the way he, by the end, you know, the dance routine. Again, I keep touching on dance routines and song and dance throughout these videos, but yeah, this ways put a smile on my face is just to have like just a good choreography, or kind of a choreography that knows it's a little bit ridiculous. Um, but yeah, it's I had a great time with this film. I had a great time with this film. I gave it an A plus. I gave it an A plus. There are a number of A films that didn't get ranked as highly for me as Barbie, and I also ranked Oppenheimer A plus. For the face-off winner, I've actually given it to Barbie. Maybe that's me being a bit of a troll, but I think it's basically a coin flip on in terms of the quality of the films. I think they're both very high quality films. You could give it to either one really, but I've given the face-off winner there to Barbie. So have fun with that. But with that being said, that brings this video to a close. And thank you for watching, listening, or however you may have consumed it. And perhaps I'll see you in the next one. Ta for now.